But I just want to assure you, I didn't pick out that gospel. They do that over in Rome somewhere. But it's the perfect gospel for what I want to talk about today on our Stewardship Sunday. When you hear about that story of the 10 lepers, only one came back to give thanks to the Lord. And we don't know exactly why that was. Maybe the others got distracted on the way home. Maybe they were too excited about what happened to them. But it's the same thing that happens with us so very often. We forget to give thanks to God for all our blessings. And there's so many. There's so many that we can't even count them, right? Even when we have crosses, initially they seem like a real burden, but God usually reveals to us that even the crosses are blessings, that He brings about something good even through the difficulties and the struggles we have in our life. And we've got so much to be thankful for. Maybe like those 9, we tend to take certain things for granted. But just think here, we're in this beautiful church. We're in the presence of God. In a few moments, we'll receive the body and blood of Christ. Those are the greatest blessings anybody could ask for. Today I want to do something that I don't usually do, is to brag about our parish. There's a little card in your pews. You can't outgive God, fast facts. I'd like you to take that home and look over it. It's got some interesting stuff about our parish, some statistics and how things are going here at the parish, and all of it is thanks to your generosity. So I want to thank you today for everything you've been doing to make this parish great. There's so much good going on here, and that little fact sheet just reveals some of it. I'm going to talk about some other things, because it's all due to your good stewardship and your generosity and love for this parish. I don't like to say it, but it's clear to me that people come from other parishes and they notice something here. They notice something special going on here. And some of them tell me that they wish they lived here. People feel welcomed and accepted when they come here. They feel like there's a spirit in this parish that's beautiful. And let's face it, this place is transformed. Many of you remember years ago, even when the school was open, it was facing some difficult years and declining in numbers, and then finally closed in 2008. And the mood here was a little bit depressed. Well, it's a different place now, isn't it? And you've made that possible with your commitment and your enthusiasm and your generosity. We've been able to enjoy so many good changes. For example, our family program that's replaced our traditional religious education program. It's a new cutting-edge approach to teaching the kids the faith that involves the whole family. And we have over 250 families involved in that now. And it's much more effective than traditional CCD. We have a full-time youth ministry here at the parish, and maybe you take that for granted, but I checked, and there's only about 2% of the parishes that are willing to invest in a full-time youth minister. And yet we all say that the youth is the future of the church, but we don't pay much attention. And we've got a great guy, Greg Rabito, who's doing great things with our kids. We're a parish that puts in its mission that we're going to be evangelizing parish, that's reaching out to those who don't know the Lord yet or have drifted away. And we've taken on somebody to focus on evangelization. And that's what our Alpha program is all about, to reach out to people who have questions and doubts and give them an easy way to come back. Almost no parish I've ever heard of has a communications director, but thanks to your generosity, we've been able to take on a full-time person to work our website, our social media, our bulletin, our advertisements, our TV commercials. It's all about outreach. And we said in our mission statement, too, that we would be a discipleship parish, where we would help people form a deep commitment to the Lord and form a great prayer life, and then be evangelizers themselves. Well, that discipleship program, so far we have 90 people who have joined, and are taking on a really serious method of prayer and development in their faith. And then, most importantly, the commitment we made to be a parish filled with prayer. That Adoration Chapel goes 136 hours a week now with people in adoration before the Blessed Sacrament. That's pretty awesome. And the works of mercy and charity that we do here, the homeless shelter, the food pantry we help, we host Narcotics Anonymous, and then we give quite a bit out to charities all around the Archdiocese. And we were so proud of our Knights of Columbus who stepped up, had a challenge to raise money for crisis pregnancy centers so they could buy new ultrasound machines, which help pregnant women who are thinking of an abortion to realize that their baby is a real human being. They've raised nearly $20,000, and they've raised more than any council in Westchester, and they set the pace to buy 3 new ultrasound machines. And people say that we have the best adult faith formation programs anywhere around. You come here practically any night of the week, there's something going on, either scripture classes or prayer classes or doctrine classes or spirituality classes, where people are learning their faith and growing in their faith. It's gotten to the point where sometimes you can't even get a parking space at night. And next week, members of the Finance Council will give a brief review of our financial report, but just a highlight or two. We did this renovation of the church, and it cost us $3.8 million. But in 5 years, we paid that down to $880,000. That's still a lot of money. But we've got 5 years to go on our loan, and we just need some more pledges, and we'll make that too. In all, we've invested $5 million in our physical plant, the parish center, and the church over the last 8 years. And we've made it into a state-of-the-art parish center, so all this activity can go on. And honestly, I want to thank you too, because we've had the stewardship weekend the last couple of years, and our collections have gone up 20%. I've talked to other pastors, and that's not the case pretty much anywhere else. You've been giving more, and so thank you for that. Our fundraisers are up too. We've started new fundraising efforts, like the mega raffle, and the golf tournament is making more than ever before, our silent auction. So where do we go from here? You all know the challenges that we face as a church. We're in tough times. Tough times because of scandals, tough times because our society's become more secularized, and in some ways, certain sectors even hostile to our faith. And we have to be the kind of parish God wants us to be. We need to keep expanding all we're doing for families and for kids, outreach to the unchurched. Eventually, we'll need some kind of summer camp coordinator so we can work all year round with kids. We'll need eventually a stewardship coordinator as well. And one youth minister is not going to cut it. We'll probably need to build up a whole team. There's so much more for us to do. This parish is a huge success thanks to you and your stewardship. Even in hard times, we're making progress. So, what do I want you to do practically? Well, this time of year, I want to invite everybody to reassess your giving. Do it once a year. You know, if you got in the habit, a good habit, years ago of making a weekly commitment, say of $5 to your parish, well, maybe it's time to take another look at it. Take some time this week and pray about it. Think about how God's blessed you. I'd like people to think about 4 P's. for your giving. First, make it a priority. Don't be sporadic off and on. Make it a priority. And secondly, make it planned. Plan out your giving. Take a look at your income, your commitments, and make a plan for your giving for the year. Third, think in terms of a percentage of your income. I know that word tithing is a little bit foreign to Catholics. It spooks us a bit when we hear that word tithing, but let's face it, it's in the Bible. And the idea of giving the first 10% back to God is really part and parcel of what it means to be a faithful follower of the Lord. But most of us aren't there. But start where you're at. Maybe you give, like most Catholics, 1 or 2%. Maybe you could bump that up to 2 or 3. Take a look at what you're giving. And the fourth P is progressive giving. That is, every year, reassess and see if you can do something more. Do this and you'll be surprised. It's true. God can't be outdone in generosity. God gives back 100-fold. I remember a talk I was at by Pastor Rick Warren, the great Saddleback Church. He said early on in his marriage, he and his wife decided to tithe. And he said, every single year, we've had more the next year. God has blessed us with more than we ever had before. Try it out. I think if you put God to the test, He'll come through. Another thing I'd like you to consider this year, if you're not doing it already, the We Share online giving program we have. About 34% of our income comes in through We Share now. And it's a great help to us because it reduces our administrative work, it reduces our costs in processing checks and cash. It's a lot more secure. And we'd love to get that up to 40%. Let's face it, most of us pay our bills online, and this would be simply doing our giving online. It's very easy to set up. Please consider that. It makes a big difference. So next week somebody will be here from the Finance Council, and you'll see that as far as our operations, we're a little bit in the red. But thanks to our fundraising, we're okay. But we'd like to correct that. And in the mail, you'll be receiving a letter and commitment envelope. Maybe you could pray over that, and next week drop it in the basket, or the week after, or mail it back in. But most importantly, I want to say thank you. I know so many of you make sacrifices. So many of you are doing really sacrificial giving. And you've made all the progress here possible. You're the ones sustaining the church. You're the ones on which the church is building its future. You know, sometimes we can look out at the landscape of the country and we get a little bit discouraged. But there's great reasons for hope because you're filled with faith and you're generous. And this parish is amazing because of your sacrifice. So let's make the parish great. Let's make it what Jesus wants it to be. A place of welcome, a place of charity, a place of real love, where people discover who Jesus is and their lives are transformed. Thank you for making it that way.